talking about, which is Porcupine, which was presented last year, and there are some previous publications. So what is Porcupine? Porcupine is a search engine, so it does perform search, but it rides on some of these concepts that are out here. So it's socially aware, it knows about your social graph and about the people that you're connected to. It uses lazy collaboration, so it asks for collaboration from the users, but they don't need to explicitly know they're collaborating. It's standalone, but it can coexist with any other search engine. It's also personalized and distributed, and context aware, sorry. And it's distributed, but it's privacy preserving. And how does it do all this? So, as you can guess, it's a distributed social search engine based on peer-to-peer principles. And what it does is to locally cache all the pages that people are browsing and the interactions with the pages. Okay? So for instance, when you bookmark a page, when you send it to the printer, you save it, anything you do, that's recorded. And when you search, what it does is to query those local caches and to rank according to those interactions that your social neighbors have been having before with the pages. And very important, it uses a proxy to mask the identity of who was the person of whom were browsing those pages. So this is how it looks like, and you can actually install it right now. In its current version, it's Firefox add-on, and when you go to whatever search engine and you search, you get the regular results here on the left, and on the right, you get the Porcupine results. Porcupine is not re-ranking anything. It's ranking from scratch. It has its own indexes. Everything is fresh and new. And as you can see, for instance, in this case, we're querying for karting, and the standard result we were getting from Google were the definition from Wikipedia, a pointer to UK karting, and so on. Porcupine, on the other hand, was giving us real-time local social information that was relevant in my social circle, right? So it was giving me information about karting events near Barcelona, and actually this is the closest karting to the lab in Barcelona, and so on. And relevant information, both locally and both in terms of the people that I have near me. Okay, so this leads me to this other idea. We all know about content overload, we've heard about it, I've discussed actually a way to overcome it through social information, but now we have something else. We also have the context overload. So it's not only about having huge amount of data coming through different streams, it's about the fact that whatever information is relevant to me depends on my context. And by context, I don't even mean the page that I'm looking at. I mean the place that I am, my location, who I'm talking to, the time of the day, whether it's the weather, the activity that I'm performing, anything. And this is very important if you come to realize that the device of the future for information seeking or information retrieval is no longer the desktop. It's the mobile device, whatever that is. It could be a mobile phone, or it could be your iPad, or whatever. But it's mobile. And this context overload in the mobile is very important. Apart from the context, there's some other differences between mobile and non-mobile. One of them is that mobiles are personal. Mobile users tend to seek for more fresh content. And there are some queries which are easy to answer, like for instance, I'm here, where's the nearest florist? I can buy some flowers. And this is pretty easy, right? I have my location, I can pinpoint the nearest florist and do this computation. But what if we go to other queries that are not so easy to formulate? Like, what was the name of that cool cocktail bar that we went the other day? And the only thing that I remember is it was close to an old church. And, and I know that Josh told me that there were very cool jazz concerts on Thursdays. Okay? And what about not only searching, but actually being surprised by information? What about discovery? What about information that can actually help me take some decisions, not only throw text at me? What about point of interest? What about events? So all of this led us to this question. Can we improve the search in a mobile device by using social information? And this is beginning to be answered by the SSB social search browser. This is a project in our lab led by Karen Church. Latest publications this year, it's in IUI and in World Wide Web also. And if you want details, I recommend you go there. But the basic idea for SSB is that it's an iPhone optimized web application plus a Facebook app. And when you launch it, what you get is a map and the set of queries that have been issued by your social network near the place where you are. Okay, so it displays queries, questions, and also you can interact with the answers, of course. And as you pan, zoom, or move, you get the queries that have been posted locally near the place where you are. We've been doing different field studies, two of them actually, the ones that led to those two publications in Ireland. And the surprising fact was that SSB was not only a tool for accessing information, which was initially our idea. It became much more than that, right? It became like a social tool where people were sharing experiences, where people were actually just looking and peeking into the queries to find what other people were thinking. And in general, it became like an extension to my social network. So again, more details, I pointed to the paper, just wanted to give you this brief overview. But, and here's the but, we've seen how we can use friends, and friends can help me in overcoming context and content overload. If I don't have enough friends that can help me out with some of the information needs that I have, I can try and go out to and reach out to the crowds, right? And this is what we do many times. I just ask all of you, can you recommend a good restaurant in Geneva? I take the average of your answers, say, okay, I'll go to that one. However, the problem is that crowds are not always wise. And why is that? It's because, in general, crowds, when you ask them for something, they tend to be noisy, and also they tend to be sparse, in the sense that you might tell me about the best restaurant according to you in Geneva because you visited 3, but the 3 you visited are different from the ones that he visited and the ones that she visited. So what I get is a sample, and it's very hard to get an answer from there. So another project we did, this was presented in UMAP last year, it's called I Like It, I Like It Not, was to actually study how